Hello, everyone. I'm Rowan from the Mount Baker Hub. We went live a week ago, Sunday, was it? Glad to be here tonight. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Rowan. Welcome. Glad to
Thank
have you with us.
Hi, I'm Ellie Graham. I'm just with Graham Hill. We just have a local neighborhood emergency preparedness group, and we're looking at the possibilities of being a hub if we can find any kind of land that where we could have a hub uh, in Southeast Seattle.
Great. Welcome.
Hi there. I'm Steve Cellini calling in from Magnolia. Can you folks hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting us. We've been working with Ann and Bill to fire up a new hub at Magnolia Manor Park and making good progress. I don't know if Laura made it. She's my partner and in a different location right now, but she's been also a big part of this. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. I don't see her on the call yet, Steve, but thanks for joining us. Okay, last call. Anybody else who wants to introduce themselves?
John Locker.
Sure.
John?
Yeah. Hi, I'm John Loaker. I'm someone who's done mapping for your hubs, and I've gotten to know Cindy and Ann through that connection. I also know Pete Mills from another connection, but the reason I'm attending is I also chair the trustees at Seattle First United Methodist Church on Denny Way. And we have a facility that, in my opinion, is underused. That should be part of the greater community of Lower Queen Anne and Belltown. And I'd like to explore options. It's a 2010 structure. It should be seismically safe. That includes an 8-level garage and a shelter for 36 men that fronts Denny Way. So thank you for allowing me to come.
Great.
Glad you're
Thanks
here,
for
John.
joining us.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Lindy. I am with the Maple Leaf Hub, the Maple Leaf Park. And we have Todd Newman.
Yeah, hi, Todd from Ercolini, Hub Captain.
Great. Lots of new people. Super exciting. Our first item on the agenda is for Ann to talk about the upcoming August 15th drill.
August 15th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Really quick about outreach and a press plan. An outreach plan was devised a couple of years ago by Cindy. It's gone through a couple of revisions. It just tells us who to reach out to and when, and we've got their email or the form that they want us to fill out or use this website to get on their calendar or whatever. So all that stuff's been done. We reach out to the mayor's office, the Office of Emergency Management, Department of Neighborhoods, council members, Seattle Times, newspapers, online newsletters, blogs. So all that kind of stuff's been done, all this normal stuff. We did talk to the emergency manager for Seattle Parks today. We interact with him a lot because we have a lot of hubs in parks. He said we could use park kiosks to post flyers for the hubs. Problem is, most of them are behind glass and they're locked. There is no central key. Parks are divided up with crew chiefs. I'm guessing there's about 5 of them throughout the city. We believe they all kind of have their own key or maybe even multiple keys for their different kiosks. There's not one easy way for all of us to do this. But if you have a kiosk, a park kiosk in your area, and you would like for us to maybe track down who you would contact about putting something there, let us know and we'll try and do that. It's not going to be an easy process, and I don't expect to use it for this drill, but it's something we found out today. Okay, I did want to show you Madison Valley made their own banner. I think it's way cool. In case you haven't figured it out, this year we're doing an earthquake. Last year we did a power outage, so we alternate. This year's title is Quake, Rattle, and Roll, so it's an earthquake. We are simulating a Nisqually-like earthquake. Nothing catastrophic. The city isn't on fire, but lots of damage. Power's down, sewer lines are broke, water lines are broke, all the normal. Traffic's a mess, all the normal stuff. So anyway, I just really enjoy that banner. And then this is their box. This is the MLK Fame Hub box. The North End did this. I used AI and I said, hey, give me drivable routes to all of the community centers, libraries, parks with kiosks or bulletin boards. I forget what all I threw in there. Give me a route and check and see whether or not these buildings are open. Like I didn't want to send somebody there on a Monday if the community center was closed. So anyway, I used AI, put together 5 different routes to drive, and then got 5 volunteers from the North End to drive these routes and put up posters and flyers. It worked out pretty well. And thank you to everybody in the North End that did those runs for us. This year, we have at least one new position that we need somebody to fill, and we're calling them the press wrangler. As we go along, as we get more and more popular and our name gets out there more and more, the press is more and more interested in us. So we would like somebody at all 4 of the sites to be available if somebody from the press or somebody from the government, a council member, the mayor, I guess. So if somebody shows up and they look like they might be important, we want somebody kind of on standby that everybody at all the volunteers know, hey, go get Joey or whatever. He's the press wrangler. She's the press wrangler.
I volunteer.
So, oh, good, Erica. Okay.
I had lots of training on talking to the press and government officials. So I volunteer.
Wait, Erica, you would be volunteering at which hub?
Morgan.
Okay, you and I have to negotiate because I wanted to talk to you about hub captain or hub
Okay.
manager.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can talk offline then.
You're a skilled person, Erica. We need you in multiple spots. So anyway, be thinking about that. And all 4 sites know that we're looking for a press wrangler for this exercise. Okay. I wanted to let you know there are 2 signups running around. One of the signups is on the posters that goes to the public. And basically it's just getting them to sign up for an hour between one of the 4 spots. Our hope was if we got the public to actually put their name on a sign up, they feel a little bit more committed. They get a reminder, they get the time and the date sent to them. So one of the ways we're engaging the public is a sign up for the public. And then there's also 4 different signups, one for each of the sites to get you guys, volunteers, into the roles. This myriad of QR codes are the ones I just talked about. So this one on the far left is a sign up for the public. If you're just going to come and pretend you're a neighbor in need, this is the sign up you do. The other ones are for the individual hubs. So if you haven't signed up yet and you've been meaning to and you have your phone on you, please sign up. And we will obviously send these out after the meeting. I think they've been sent out already, but there's still quite a few holes. So please do yourself a favor and get in these spots. I could talk real quickly about the radio side of this. We're not doing anything extravagant. ACS is kind of going to do their normal thing. What we are pushing in this drill is the idea that maybe for some hubs, it makes more sense logistically to physically walk to wherever their ACS radio operators are rather than use a radio. The ACS radio operators are going to set up within a 1 or 2 block area of each of these 4 hubs. The hub won't know where they are. The hub radio people need to listen on the right channels to hear where the ACS radio operators are. Where is your physical location? And then we'll practice sending messages via radio, but also sending a runner in between the hub and the ACS radio people. So that's one of the things we're practicing. The Office of Emergency Management talked to them today. They've got some really strong ideas of how to push this message out to the public. They would not do an Alert Seattle post for us. I was hoping I could talk him into that, but that was a no-go. But they have access to a lot of city calendars that we don't have access to, and just city employees, period. So they're going to push that out for us. I think that's it with the drill.
Thanks. The next item on our agenda is Cindy talking about Night Out on August 4th.
So Night Out is coming up August 4th. If you're not a person who's participating in your own block watch, like I don't have a block watch that I'm in, so I'm going to go right around like I've done in the past to all the block parties in Morgan Junction and hand them one of those black and white copies of the drill thing. Most folks have already met me and they know about the hub, so I'm doing kind of a like, just in case you don't know about the hub, this is it. But really, I want to make sure you can come down and be part of the drill for us. Our West Seattle blog put up a new phrase in their announcements of stuff they've started calling out for hub helpers. So that's another new phrase that people are inventing to have us recruit people to come down and overstress us. So if you want to find where the block parties are in your neighborhood, just Google Seattle Night Out and you'll come up with this URL that's crime prevention / night out. And if you scroll down, there is a map. On the map, it starts out at the big city, but you can drill down into your neighborhood. Once you've kind of got into an area, you could say, hey, I want to know everything within like about a third of a mile or a quarter mile from a particular location, who's having the block parties. And once it gives you these results, you can look down below here and see the details about each of those. I'm going to show you two of them. One is here at the top, and they are having hot dogs. So I'm going to make sure I stop at that one. And then the others that are listed in here, not so much excitement, but there's one that told me exactly where they're going to be. Because sometimes you come into a block area and you're going like, I'm not sure I see a party really. And so you can look at these maps and find out exactly where they're going to be. And then just pop by and say, local neighborhood person, I'm not part of the city. I'm not the fire department. Sometimes you have to listen to them complain because the fire engine hasn't shown up. But so now that you can sort of, you see also you can click on any of these and get specifics too. So I'm going to clear this and kind of try and get it to scroll out. So you can see there is a ton of them across the city. Not all of them that register actually put themselves on the map. You might be riding by and go, hey, there's a block party going on, but it wasn't on the map. That's just personal preference of the particular block, whether they're going to publicize it or not. Any questions about that?
I'll say, Cindy, if anybody's doing one, you can sign up until the 27th because I signed up yesterday for my block.
Okay.
Nice.
Any questions on that from anyone before we move forward?
Yeah, Cindy, you've done this a few times. I just want to know. I mean, often I kind of go over there and there's sort of people sitting around and I might talk to a couple of them, but what's the best way to get the group informed about what's going on?
Actually, when you write up, say, who's organizing this or who should I talk to who is part of the organizer? And what you can say is, I have some, because they're kind of like, who are you? You're trying to get my hot dogs, right? You say, I'm from the neighborhood hub doing emergency preparedness. So you kind of go, okay. And you say, I have a flyer for your organizer, because typically you can hand them the one thing and they'll get the word out afterwards. Nobody wants to stop the party that they plan to do your thing. So you're really just trying to get something in their hand that they'll promise to send out afterwards. But in other times I'm like, they go, oh, really? Oh yeah, I remember you. Sit down, have a glass of lemonade. So you need to be prepared for that too.
I wanted to make a comment, if I might.
Hey, Robert. Yeah.
Hi. We're having a city night out in our Pigeon Point neighborhood, and we're going to have a hub table set up for ours. But if you haven't heard, the 34th precinct in West Seattle, is it 34th? Our police precinct is giving out free kids materials to give out at city night out block parties, and all you have to do is show up at the precinct. I'm getting the exact time.
Oh, I have it. It's already on my calendar.
It's on the 3rd of August. So if you show up at the Southwest precinct from 12 to 2 p.m. on Monday, August 3rd, you can pick up free stuff to give to kids.
So, and we always are invited to put our materials into their swag bag. So I spend the morning before they start handing them out, stuffing 800 flyers into the things. And so I was debating whether or not I wanted to put a flyer into every bag, and I decided not to. So I may put the hub maps in it instead. I'm sorry that for the rest of you, Southwest is the only one still doing that swag bag thing. The other precincts are not doing it anymore.
Okay, thanks, Cindy. Our next item is a communications team update from Wendy.
Hello. I saved introducing myself because I knew I had time.
Yeah.
I'm Wendy Lindquist. I'm from the Broadview Hub, but I am the communications lead, the new communications lead. And one of the things I have been I was working on last night, was making an even more print-friendly version of the flyers for the 4th. So something that is 2 to a page, mostly black and white, or you could do in black and white. And I'm working on a short version, also that kind of a half pager that you could also take to or give out at these events. So hoping to have those both done and ready to share early next week. I know many of you are excited about logos. I have been living the logo dream the last couple of days, as Cindy knows. The designer did a fantastic job, and in fact, such a fantastic job that for each and every hub, there are more than 30 versions of the logo. So that's a lot. And so it's fantastic because it means that all of the needs will be met. So they're in black and white, they're in white, they're in color. There are digital versions, there are small versions, there are horizontal and vertical versions, stuff for printing. But it's going to take some time to translate the really complex information they gave us and some of what they didn't share into a simple how to use and get those logos into everybody's hands.
Do you have a timeline for that?
I do not. You're muted, Cindy.
I saw on the Madison Valley Hub banner, they had the logo and it said Seattle Hub. So it was the generic one. How did you guys get that? And, you know, is that one little piece of art available? I mean, what did you guys do? Is Mark on? Let's see, who would have done that? Frank Lawler's not on. I know he's busy in evenings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
follow
Frank's
up
the
with-
one that made the banner, so I'm not sure how we got the logo.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Matt had a hand up.
Oh yeah, follow up to what you were saying. I need to sync up with you. I'm the IT lead, and I wanted to talk to you about how to store and distribute the logos to everybody. So we're working on a plan there. But yeah, get in touch with me.
Yeah.
That was part of it, is making sure that the copies don't go away.
Right. And not to, but I think that is going to blow up the Google Drive. We're at like 75% full, and I just haven't been doing anything about it because I knew the IT team. But we need to be careful before you drop that in. Oh my God.
One last pitch is, if you know somebody within your hubs who you think would be interested in volunteering on some communication work, use the help. So if you know a graphic designer, somebody who loves sending and building emails, somebody who is a writer and loves writing copy for things like flyers or websites, whatever you have we would love to hear from them.
Great. Thanks, Wendy. It sounds like you've been busy. Any last questions for Wendy?
I do. This might be redundant, but how do I do that, Wendy? How would I get in touch with you? Is there, or and if the stuff isn't going to go in the Google Drive, how do we?
We will share it out. So there will be a whole plan for sharing out the logos that will be equitable, and that we will be able to, so that people feel like not only Do they have them, but they know how to access them and they know how to use them? And
Okay, cool.
so I know there will be a few things that come up for, in the meantime, we'll work on taking care of some of those. And we'll prioritize getting the main logo out with that guidance.
Thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks. Looks like the next topic, Cindy, is Patch Hub Locations Review.
Yep. So this is just a heads up. We had committed earlier this year, late last year, to go back through all the P-patch areas and make sure that they were safe and usable locations. Like, so there's still a few P-patches left on our map that are like on steep hillsides, and they're just not big enough to host an actual flat gathering hub. So pretty soon we're going to whittle down that list into just the candidates that would actually really make good neighborhood areas. And so if you know of someone who's been talking to you about a P patch and you think it's a usable area, I would just like to make sure I know that there's some maybe possible interest about those and not take them off the map accidentally because of some kind of judgment call on my part. So just letting everybody know that some of the non-good candidates are going to, eventually filter off that map, and we'll be left with some typical gathering places. So that was just it. So if anybody's got a reason that a P-patch hub should stay on the map, just let me know, please.
Real quick update on the teams. The team leads are getting together once a month. James, who's in charge of the admin team, has been really good about pulling the team leads together. So work is happening. Team members are being reached out to. Are you still interested in being on the team? I don't have a whole lot else to say except there are some really smart, dedicated people that are working on this. So I'm really impressed with the process. And I hope once we've got something a little bit more solid and we can talk to the bigger group, I think you guys are going to be really tickled with the kind of the direction that things are going. So anyway, I just didn't want to let another meeting go by without saying something. That stuff is happening behind the scenes, and it's just a lot of trying to figure out the stuff that Cindy and I have done, who's going to do it moving forward. And as soon as we kind of think we know where it's going to land, then something will shift and somebody will come up with a bigger, better idea. So it is definitely a moving target. Go ahead, Katrina.
So as the lead for the Emerging Hubs team, we are small, but I think we will be mighty. But I wanted to put a plug in if there is anybody who would be interested or knows of anybody in your hubs who might be interested in helping to learn how to stand up new hubs across the city, please get in touch. Thanks.
The next item is DON matching grant funds, Anne.
Some of you that are in the process of writing a grant to get your gear, the Department of Neighborhoods did run out of money for the smaller grants. Some of you that have looked at the website recently that for the neighborhood matching grants only saw one kind of grant, and that's the larger grant. That's $5,000 up to $50,000. The larger grant is the only one listed on the website. That's because they took the smaller grant off because they don't have money. We just had a hub in Fremont I think it was last Thursday, so like a week ago, their application got approved. So we don't know exactly what's happening with Department of Neighborhoods. My guess is they're not accepting new ones, but they are still kind of approving some of the ones that may be in the works. I'm not really sure. Anyway, for the new folks, the Department of Neighborhood Matching Fund grant that we typically go for when we're talking about an individual hub, it's the $5,000 and below. You can basically get all of your gear and some outreach materials and pay the fiscal sponsor fee and get refreshments for $5,000. It's the first time that I know of that Department of Neighborhoods has run out of money. Hopefully this isn't going to be a yearly thing, but that's kind of where we're sitting right now.
They had a lot of applicants this year, and that is why they ran out of money, and because the hubs themselves put in 6 or 7. And what happens as the year goes on, the first ones start closing out their contracts and there's leftover money. And so sometimes it takes them a little bit of time to cobble together, and they go, okay, we got, between these 3 contracts that just closed, we've got $2,000. We can now fund this other project here. So they kind of have a waiting list. And so as funds become available, that's the one place I know that they've done it before in the past.
Okay. Cindy, we're going to move on to the World Cup. You're going to give us a recap, I assume, of all the games?
No, I had to be at a hub event and I could not watch the big game, so we were going to the kid who was at the snack table going, what's the score? What's the score? So rats. So as a result, we did a lot of work for the World Cup. We actually sat through some of the debriefs, nothing happened. It was very calm and quiet. So now the departments are back to normal. And we had a meeting downtown today where some of the city departments, we get a chance to talk to them. Seattle Public Utilities, as part of their granting, they had and I'm going to share the screen again because everybody has an action item coming out of this. We need help to figure this one out. They got a grant for a number of what they call bottle refill stations. And so most of these got put into the downtown area, Pioneer Square, and they're plumbed into the water system. So they have 12 of them left over. And they said, maybe we can talk to the hub people and see if there are locations near to a hub that these might want to go in. And what they're looking for is places where it's got like a really crappy old water fountain already somewhere that they can just bring it in and swap it out for these refillable stations. So they're not putting any new plumbing in, but it's, something that's already watered that we're kind of going, this is where people are going to show up and gather. Maybe this would be a good candidate. So if you would take a look around your neighborhoods, there even is a suggestion that's maybe if you've got 2 hubs that are somewhat nearby, there's a place in between the 2 of them that would be a good candidate. We've got 12 of them to give them ideas on. They have a meeting next Thursday to figure out where to place these. So if you can get your ideas to me as soon as possible, then, Ann and I can, kind of suss through and try and, figure out what additional criteria we can give them to help them make some decisions. Any questions about that? That was a surprise today, but it's like a gift and I'm not going to turn it down. Katrina?
Yeah, will there be any kind of responsibility for wherever it's located? I'm actually thinking Madison Park has an old one. It might be really helpful to replace it, but I can imagine Octavia asking me questions about, well, do we have to replace filters or what kind of maintenance is
No,
required? And that
we're
sort
just
of thing.
giving them an idea where to put it.
Okay.
It's all going to be under Seattle Public Utilities.
They'll take care of it. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve Cellini also mentioned, and I actually called, and so I called and said, hey guys, all the P patches have faucets, and if nothing, they have multiple faucets. So what's the water distribution plan, that you've talked about with Department of Neighborhoods at P patches? So I wouldn't say P patches are a good candidate because they've got full on, water faucets. Of the 12 of these that have to go across the whole city, and we'll probably also make sure that there's one in every island of the city kind of thing. I wouldn't put it next to a P patch because you've already got faucets there. Thank you, everybody.
Great. Thanks, Cindy. All right. Now, Ann, did I get everything? Are we ready to move on? Okay.
We got permission today from the emergency manager from Seattle Parks to move boxes ourselves. The way it works, for anybody that doesn't know this, Parks moves these boxes around and hosts these boxes as a favor, sort of. It's not in their job description, it's not in their mandate. They think it's a good idea. We obviously think it's a good idea. We need them. But the moving around the boxes is at their whim. We don't have a lot of control over when it happens. The other thing is, Parks Department personnel cannot go to, for example, P patches and either put a box in or take a box out. They certainly can't go into private property, put a box in or take a box out. So we asked the Parks Department, could we find a volunteer within our hub world, somebody that owns a construction company possibly, that has a big truck and a couple strong people, maybe a forklift, that'd be great. Liability insurance, business license, that kind of thing, so they're covered. Do we have anybody in the network that can help us out? This is not that much work. maybe 12 boxes a year, and that's on the high side, I think. So it's not a ton of work. If you have anybody that you think might be interested, please send them my way, and we will try and figure out what we need to do to make their lives easy and our lives easy. So we're looking for that. The reason is because parks can't go onto all different properties and move these things, and we're at their whim. So timeliness is always a struggle. The other thing, I didn't realize this. Cindy said it to me today, like I was supposed to know this. And I'm thinking, if I don't know this, then maybe there's other people that don't know it either. It is a rule that we cannot put a stake into the ground in a park if there's any chance that you're going to hit an irrigation line. I didn't know that. I've been telling people to stake stuff down. And, granted, irrigation lines aren't going to be in the middle of a field, I don't think. And they're certainly not going to be on a baseball diamond. But anyway, keep it in mind. I did not know that. I do have a couple things to share for, let's call them best practices.
Okay, super.
Okay. We got permission today from the emergency manager from Seattle Parks to move boxes ourselves. The reason this comes up is parks. So the way it works, for anybody that doesn't know this, parks moves these boxes around and hosts these boxes as a favor, sort of. It's not in their job description. It's not in their mandate. They think it's a good idea. We obviously think it's a good idea. We need them. But the moving around the boxes is at their whim. So we don't have a lot of control over when it happens, any of that kind of stuff. The other thing is Parks Department personnel cannot go to, for example, pea patches and either put a box in or take a box out. They certainly can't go into private property and put a box in or take a box out. So we asked the Parks Department, could we find a volunteer within our hub world, somebody that owns a construction company, possibly that has a big truck and a couple strong people, maybe a forklift, that'd be great. Liability insurance, business license, that kind of thing. So they're covered. Do we have anybody in the network that can help us out? This is not that much work. Maybe, I don't know, Cindy, I'm guessing maybe 12 boxes a year, and that's on the high side, I think. So it's not a ton of work. If you have anybody that you think might be interested, please send them my way, and we will try and figure out what we need to do to make their lives easy and our lives easy. So we're looking for that. The reason is because parks can't go onto all different properties and move these things, and we're at their whim. So timeliness is always a struggle. The other thing, I didn't realize this. Cindy said it to me today, like I was supposed to know this. And I'm thinking, if I don't know this, then maybe there's other people that don't know it either. It is a rule that we cannot put a stake into the ground in a park if there's any chance that you're going to hit an irrigation line. I didn't know that. I've been telling people to stake stuff down. And, granted, irrigation lines aren't going to be in the middle of a field, I don't think. And they're certainly not going to be on a baseball diamond. But anyway, keep it in mind. I did not know that. Go ahead, Matt.
For the stake rule, do you know if that applies to yard staples like we use for our signage, or just for tent stakes?
The permit is specific about you cannot use tent stakes. So okay. I'm not going to go read between the lines and apply that to everybody who jams those little things in the ground, because I see those all over the place. But yeah. tent stakes, they hammer those in, and that's probably what they're really worried about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So those were your two items under best practices. Does anyone else have anything they would like to share that they've been doing at their hub, that they've been trying something new or new idea that they've been thinking about?
I am going to thank everyone who's made improvements to the hub system. I'm kind of re-going through all my hub stuff, getting ready. And there are so many great new practices that I'm incorporating. You guys are such a fantastic group to work with. I just love it.
We'll give ourselves a hand, Cindy.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
I found something interesting in the way of resources. The Boy Scouts have a merit badge for emergency preparedness, and one for first aid, and one for there's about four of them that make sense to the hub missions, and each of these merit badges comes with a free handbook between 60 and 100 pages of stuff. A merit badge is something that a hub could use to establish a basic competency in something like first aid. The language is simple enough and the pictures are good enough even for youth to deal with. So there is a resource. And you can download these things for free.
So Kurt, are you suggesting we would give our volunteers a merit badge when they know some of the information that's in one of those free books? Is that I think that's what I hear you saying.
No, I'm talking about it as a training resource.
Okay.
If a hub wants to do if the hub wants to do a first aid station, for instance, well, how much first aid are you going to do? Well, the Boy Scouts first aid merit badge establishes a useful basic competency that you don't have to think about very hard. And it has, review questions and stuff like that, so your people are trained up. I I thought about actually recommending that you buy merit badges from the Boy Scouts and let people sew them onto their hub jackets, but they're $5 a piece.
Well,
That's all.
okay. It's actually a good idea because it says people have gone through something. It could be a good way to give people a little gamification incentive for their work. So great idea. Thank you. And a good suggestion about the books. I didn't know they had those books and that they were free. Anyone else? Jody, you were next. Yeah.
We could also contact the scouts for volunteers too. But anyway, I have been doing some more work on the manuals for the stations, and one of the things that I have done is made a list of the supplies that are in there. And at the bottom of it, I have an area for notes so that during and after a drill, the people in the station can write down some suggestions. Having this list in each of the bags for the stations also means that after a hub drill, when things are most often not restored in what could be considered order, I can take them, get them reorganized, make sure everything that is supposed to be in there is in there, and also read those suggestions and comments and notes. Like the greeter said, we do not need staplers. So I took them out. But the other thing, one of the things that we activated our hubs on the 12th, and it was fabulous. And I think one of the reasons everything went so much better and was more organized that section down below for notes and comments and questions and suggestions gave us some ways to improve what we were doing instead of just doing the same thing over and over again. So, and as I say, it really helps after a drill to get the bag for the station in good order again, so it's ready to go for the next time. That's it.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else have something they want to share?
Yeah, this is Katrina on Madison Park. I'll just mention quickly that we're having our kind of stand-up takedown drill on August 8th from 11 to 1. If anybody's interested in coming by, we'd appreciate it.
And I know Cindy's going to say make sure all your events are on the calendar.
Yep.
So I'll just repeat that as people are telling us their events. Kurt and then Bill.
Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Jody, I wanted to say that North Capitol Hill Hub has also been working on updating documentation all on our own, and we have checklists for our stations that we always use after an event, because we find that if we don't separately open up the bags and inventory the things that are in them, the hub is basically disabled until we fix those. That's all.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Bill?
Our hub has been tabling at Kubota Park, or Kubota Gardens rather, which is in our neighborhood, and distributing information about the hub itself and also about the drill. And also, we're having a training on household preparedness on August 1st, which I guess is a week from tomorrow, um, at the Rainier Beach Community Center. It's from 10 o'clock to 12.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. Cindy, I think you're next.
Cindy, and then I
Bill
see
after
Bill
you.
thing. I have a question for Kurt. I mean, we're in this run up to the exercise, which is August 15th. Kurt, are you guys okay with your skills fair on the 16th, or do you think you're going to need any volunteers? Because that last week is going to be chaos. And if you think you're going to need volunteers, get that word out early.
Yeah, roger that.
Yeah.
Bill?
Yeah, just since everybody's making announcements, the Magnolia Village Hub is going to have a trial set up on August 8th, 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So we'll be trying to get the word out and see how many people we can come and take interest in what the Magnolia Village Hub does. Of course, at the same time, we are going to have a canopy booth in the vendor area of Summerfest, which is a week from tomorrow, Friday the 31st and the 1st and 2nd. So we'll be reaching out through Summerfest, as well as having a trial set up on August 8th in Magnolia Village.
Great. Thanks, Bill. So it looks like we need to transition into our around the room. So we've had a couple announcements already. So why don't I start with Northwest and just see if there's anybody from Northwest that didn't share that would like to share updates or programs. Pat?
Yep, I'm up in the northwest corner as far as you can go. There's two hubs, north and south, and we're in process of getting in touch. We're going to do like maybe 5 to 10 small businesses and pass out information about the hub, a map where the hubs are located, the nearest hubs. And this will also include an introductory letter with a couple of links to resources and that are appropriate for businesses, which, not surprisingly, are similar to household preparedness, like anchor your shelving, make sure that there's nothing breakable that's going to land on any of your employees or customers or whatever. So we're working on that. Once I contact a few of the businesses, I'll assess whether we're going to try to expand to all the businesses, which is a much larger number because we include Aurora Avenue and Greenwood Avenue, which are, have more businesses. And then in September, we're tentatively planning a radio event, educational event, communications via various kinds of radios, I guess it's looking like. And that will be at our Broadview Library, but that's still in process. And that's it for Broadview Northwest.
Great. Thanks, Pat. Jeff?
My hub, the Haller Lake Emergency Hub, is having a drill August 2nd, which is a Sunday. And you all are invited. There's a sign up, and I should have that link at my fingertips, and I don't. I'm kind of embarrassed. So I'm going to dig that up, and I'll put it in the chat.
Great. Thanks, Jeff. Okay, we'll move on to Northeast. Jimmy?
We're also having an event at the Maple Leaf Park on August 1st. It's going to be a box inventory and volunteer meet and greet Hopefully we'll have some of the people that came out to the Maple Leaf Summer Social last week. Hopefully some of those folks will come out and we'll be able to kind of talk about getting them more involved, more organized, and just going over our gear and seeing, what we have, what we might need to replace or augment and whatnot. But that's what we got going on.
Great. Sounds good. How about anybody from Central West?
Well, I'll just add a little bit more about Magnolia. Like I said, we're going to be at the Hub people will be at Summerfest, and then we're going to have our trial setup of the Magnolia Village Hub. But what's happening is, and Steve Chinelli, who's actually on this Zoom call, has been put together a group of neighbors and a good team, and they're moving forward on developing a new hub for the Magnolia Manor Park. And there's a pea patch there, so I don't know how related they'll be to the pea patch or whether they're just going to be related to the park, which is also an off-leash dog park. But Steve's moving ahead, and we're all working together. We're setting up places to meet in the future. The Magnolia Village and this new Manor Park groups are going to meet together at the same time once a month to move forward, as well as we're looking as part of Steve's effort to develop his hub. We're putting together a household preparedness class or clinic or whatever like that, probably coming up in September or something like that. Again, to reach out to the neighborhood of Magnolia and educate about preparedness and the existence of not one but two hubs. So that's I just want to introduce Steve Chinelli. He's been working very hard and has got a great team put together. That's all for Magnolia right now.
Great. Thanks, Bill. Anyone else? Central West? Okay. Southwest? Cindy's always got something.
Well, mostly because I'm shepherding the whole summer of preparedness that we've had. We had a booth out at Summerfest, our Summerfest, which is always like a primo spot to talk to people. I got lots of people signing up to be interested. I haven't gone and looked at the public signups. We are having two Hub 101s for the general public here. I had one last night, so a handful of people. I'm amazed that I got anybody on a 92-degree night. So, and particularly, I had a family show up, and they've got 4 teenage girls, and they're interested in doing leadership stuff. So they're on Gatewood Hill. I don't see Dustin on, but near his hub. So as I get these recruits coming in, I'm connecting them to their hub captains. I've got one more Hub 101 coming up, and that one is about half. It's about 20 people signed up to attend that. And that's where I'm going to get most of the fodder for the backup people to be around the new hub captains and their learning. So, like I said earlier, I'm going to start reaching out to hub captains who have not signed up, even though I've sent the link to them and said, get the spot you want now. So we'll be staffing out over the next week or so. I do have our ham radio people lined up, both GRMS and the ACS sector team has, gotten themselves organized. So we're feeling pretty good. And we had a story in the West Side newspaper. It used to be the West Seattle Herald. It's called West Side News. So there was advertisement about Quake, Rattle, and Roll in that. And I know Tracy at the West Seattle blog's going to do one closer when we come. So lots of good advertising. And I'm really excited to get our new hub captains out in the field and have fun.
Great. Thanks. Anybody else from Southwest?
Just to say, we're the Pigeon Point hub in Southwest. And as I said, we're looking forward to piggybacking on City Night Out and having a table and stuff to give out. And we have so many, like most neighborhoods, so many new neighbors. We're going to try to capture them in our hub list that we have put together because we have a local resident who's a computer whiz, and he's set up a database for us. And by the way, Cindy, we will not only have hot dogs, free hot dogs, we will have live music at ours. So come to ours.
I'm coming.
Very nice. Great. All right. Anyone from Southeast? Bill?
Yes, I should have mentioned earlier that we have at least 3 block parties in our neighborhood, and we're going to be not tabling at all of them, but we've got little handbills, save the date things, advertising the drill that we're going to be passing out.
Great. Anyone else from Southeast? All right. Ann, Cindy, any other last notes or anyone else have any other last comments before we wrap up? No? Okay. All right. Well, then I guess we're done. Just squeaked barely over an hour. Good to see everyone. Hope to see some of you at the drill in a couple of weeks. Thanks for all the good information. See you all again soon.
Don't end the meeting just
Bye.
yet.
Have a good night.